How the hell did I, a dorky kid who graduated high school with a 1.8 GPA, get a job at Riot Games right out of college? Or at least about a year after graduating. I found out about League of Legends in 2012. I was in middle school, I wanted to play games so badly, but of course, I didn't have any money. So when I heard about a free-to-play game on PC, I had to check it out. Then in middle school and throughout high school, I was a dirty League player. I even played in a few tournaments. But I wasn't just a player, I was a fan of Riot. I listened to every piece of music, watched every featurette, BTS video, documentary, the World Championships was church. You get the idea. I was a fanboy. Alongside my fandom were dreams of making videos. I really learned a lot watching and listening to everything Riot put out. And I would finally get to put some of that to the test when I took my first film class in high school. When I graduated, I decided I wanted to make storytelling through film and video my career. I got into a private university called Huntington, where I busted my ass for 4 years making whatever I could. And I did great. I won 3 Rocky Mountain Emmys, which are like the real Emmys, but a tier below because it's for students. 2 BEA awards. My projects got into festivals. I made a litany of YouTube videos trying every format. To do all of that though, I kind of stopped playing games. I kept up with Riot as much as I could. I still watched Worlds and played a game here and there. Riot's 10th anniversary definitely brought me back for a bit, but I had to finish school. I graduated in the summer of 2021, and after all of it, I thought, what now? So it's the summer. I looked at all of the paths of the entertainment industry and I decided post-production is what I want to do. I knew I wanted to get into online entertainment, so I started looking for editor positions with outlets like Watcher, First Do Feast, 88 Rising, among others. While I was looking, I was working freelance videographer jobs and had a part-time job at the Container Store. Which, by the way, if you choose to work a retail job, the Container Store I think is a pretty good option. Later in November, after many nights of browsing Indeed, I saw a listing that just said esports editor. It said something along the lines of, if you like League of Legends and esports, then this is for you. And I thought, well, that sure is for me. I also realized this whole time I've completely forgotten about the gaming industry, even though my senior capstone project was literally about people playing video games. So I applied to the listing, and a few days later, I got a call back to set up an interview, which was over Discord because we're gamers. In the meeting, my interviewer revealed to me that the job is for Counterlogic Gaming, which was a real whiplash moment to me. You mean the guys that I had been watching on the LCS stage for years? Oh my god! The guy really liked me. The interview went well, and they had me on as a freelance editor. Quick side note, CLG has since then been disbanded, and I miss them dearly. So at this point, I was bit by the bug. I looked at other esports teams, and I started looking at developers. Then I thought, what about Riot? I looked up Riot video editor position, and the first result was the application page to the video editor internship at Riot at the time. Now all of my synapses were firing. Just the thought of being able to apply all of my creative skills I've gained up to this point at Riot Games ignited a fire. So I spent all of December pimping out my resume. I redid my website, my LinkedIn, made a new reel. I even had some of my school professors write letters of recommendation for me. The crown jewel of it all was a topography music video I put together to push my motion graphic skills, and it almost killed me. I got hit with the New Year's flu while working on it, and I kept going anyway. It was an awful experience, and it's one of the most creatively challenging projects I've ever done, but the result, I suppose, made it worth it. I worked all the way up to the day before the deadline. I had everything ready, and finally, I sent my application. The wait for my verdicts was excruciating. While I was waiting, I joined up with a private Discord with other Riot internship applicants. There, I talked to people from all over the world in the same field, and it was a really cool experience. Meanwhile, I did what one applying to an internship should. I found the recruiters on LinkedIn and got in contact with them. I asked, when can I expect to hear back? And they got back to me saying, should be within a few weeks, which turned into a few months. At this point, I'm still at the Container Store, still doing freelance work with CLG. Then one day, while I was at work behind the counter, I get an email notification. I see Riot Games. Take a deep breath, open it, read it, and it says I did not get it. I worked so hard for this. Fantasized about how cool it would be to be a part of Riot so early out of school, but when I read that I lost it, all of that energy was gone, and Riot felt so far away. My copium was saying stuff like, yeah, it's a big world, I'm not the only editor out there. I looked at my other options, but still saw Riot as the goal. And I just accepted I had to get better at my craft. Not too long after, I joined up with another esports team, Dignitas, also as a freelance editor. I wasn't with them for very long though. A few days after I got the job with Dignitas, I got a notification on my LinkedIn that said, "Someone from Riot production team viewed your profile." And that got me wide-eyed. I got a little excited, but I just took it as a passing glance and moved on. But then about 30 minutes later, I got a direct message. It was from the video editor manager at Riot at the time. And it said, "Well, we regret to inform you, you didn't get the internship, but I want to talk to you about a potential work opportunity." I stared at that message for a solid 5 minutes, and first thing I did was check their profile like, are they fake? Is this a bot? No, this was real. Of course, I responded like, "Yes, please!" And then we set up time for an interview the week after. Those few days beforehand were terrifying. I looked up stuff like how to negotiate. When we were finally in the meeting, they were very nice. I was very nervous, but I kept a good energy. For the most part, it was just a get to know you kind of meeting. It didn't feel like I had 100 cameras on me, probing me and everything I said. The whole time, I'm under the impression that this is the first of a maybe 3 or 4 stage interview process. But after all of our conversation, they offered me a full-time contractor position. I got the job. After the meeting, I just sat still for a bit, processing like, all of that effort meant something now. It got me somewhere. They also explained why I didn't get the internship. For one, I had already graduated. Even though I was taking one more class at the time when I applied, it wasn't enough to be considered a student, so I was out anyway. But, and I must preface, they didn't say this to me directly, but I feel this is also the case. Even if I were a student, I feel like my resume was too cracked for just an internship. I feel like it had to be, because otherwise, why would they have reached out? A few weeks after that meeting was my first day with Riot. At the time of this recording, I've been at Riot for a little over a year, and a lot's changed. And more will continue to change. I'm still really young, and I'm sure this will be far from the last high and low experience I'll go through. I can't confidently say what the lesson of this story is, or put it into something wise, but if you're also on the pursuit for your dream job, ask yourself the same questions I did. How bad do you want it? And what are you willing to lose to achieve it?